Hello everyone and welcome back to Full House Sports here with myself Charlie. Right, quick late night video reacting to the breaking news coming out of Ibrox that Russell Martin has been sacked by Rangers. A statement was released around 15 minutes ago. Obviously Rangers drawing earlier with Falkirk 1-1, a result that has left the club still languishing in the bottom half of the table, and quite simply the writing was on the wall for Russell Martin from a long way out. I did a video on the channel a few weeks ago saying that Rangers needed to sort it out. I'm not one to call for managers' heads all the time, but it was pretty clear from day dot really this wasn't going to work. And I think the real shame about this comes from someone who follows Rangers, has been to Ibrox, loved the club. You know, I think a lot of English people would probably echo my thoughts on that, English football fans. I think the real shame about this is that this is not a great SPL season. Celtic are not at their vintage best. They're limping over the line. They limped over the line today again against Motherwell 3-2. Maeda scored in the 92nd minute. They have also been struggling themselves. They drew last weekend against Hibs. Hearts top the league, and that's no disrespect to Hearts because what Derek McInnes is doing there is a fantastic job, but it just goes to show the league's not as strong as it has been. So for Rangers to be where they are, and I'm not saying Rangers can't compete, but it does feel massively like a wasted opportunity. I think this summer, to be honest, upon reflection, was a bit of a mess, really, which was surprising considering the 49ers promised that wouldn't be the case. But the fact of the matter is that the Martin appointment, I mean, it was between Russell Martin and Davide Ancelotti. Ancelotti's not exactly doing great over at Botafogo in Brazil, so you've got to wonder if either of them were the most adequate candidates to do the job. And as it's turned out, Martin was chosen and Martin has not been adequate. I think Rangers were outclassed by Bruges. They are up against it as well in the Europa League now. The loss to Sturm Graz in midweek there's perceived harder games coming up. Roma's coming up in the Europa League. They're no mugs. I know that's not the next game, but they're no mugs. There's some tougher games coming up for Rangers, and it's going to be an uphill battle to get through in that, especially to finish in the top 8 like they did last year. It's one of them that you just think is disappointing and shocking, really. Shocking in terms of the standards that the club has set. I said a few weeks back I was not entirely sold on this 49ers enterprise as yet. I know that they've took over Rangers, they've promised investment, but a lot of the decisions seem to be at times laboured and baffling, and I still worry they've not realised the enormity of the task that owning a club like Rangers is. I still think that they think, oh, we've got a team in Scotland now that potentially could be a feeder to Leeds or just a sister club to Leeds. I don't think they've realised that Rangers fans won't stand for that. As for replacements, I'm personally not a fan of a Gerrard reunion. I think he's shown at Villa and at Al Ettifaq that maybe he's not the manager that people thought he was at Rangers. I don't personally think it's a great thing. I don't think you should go out. Rarely, I know Rangers fans will say, well, what about Walt Smith? But I think rarely do these managerial reunions work as well as you think. I think it's got to be a manager who they can build a project around, and that's a toughie. Or the other flip side is, do you go for a maybe interim point? Do you go for someone who's going to steady the ship and then at the end of next season go in? I mean, you know, people will say, yeah, but look at how that worked out this summer. But I think it was the wrong appointment, Russell Martin. There's no doubt in the summer other managers will become available. I said a few weeks back I thought Rangers should have gone all in for Nuno. They didn't. I don't know if Nuno would have gone there anyway. I wonder where Rangers will go now. Graham Potter's out of a job. Is that a possibility? He likes working with probably the profile player that Rangers have signed. So could Graham Potter be a possibility? I don't think that will really overwhelm Rangers fans. There's other managers, Sean Dyche. I know some people would like him, but again, he'd steady the ship. He'd make Rangers defensively more solid. I'd like to see Rangers go for a progressive choice. I really would. I mean, thinking of choices off the top of my head, Marco Rose maybe could be a potential one. Thinking of young managers out of management, I mean, Edin Terzic, would he be willing to come? I mean, it feels like a ridiculous statement, but, you know, Dortmund manager got them to a Champions League final. Could he potentially come? Again, made Dortmund very defensively solid. People forget that. He obviously got into a Champions League final. Would he be willing to come? I don't know. I don't know what he's waiting for. Marco Rosa, I know there was rumours in the summer that he was being looked at. There's others as well. There's always managers out there. There's always ex-players out there that will say, oh, well, we're looking for a job. We're after a job. And you never know who you could get or who you might get. There's always assistant managers as well that might want to take that leap into management. So you never know who you're going to get. And I won't say Eric Ten Hag there, but I think Rangers fans will be screaming, no, please no. It's just a mess. It's a real mess for Rangers, I think. And I think as well, it's a bit of a wake-up call, I think, for the owners, which is Rangers fans will not stand for lower standards, because they are, at the moment, I think, letting it just dwindle along, sort of like a lazy river. And Rangers is not a lazy river. It's anything but, with a fan base and the passion that's up north of the border, and with Glasgow and with the old firm, with everything else, with the passion that is with Rangers, it is far from being that. So I think this hopefully is a wake-up call that you won't get away with that again. But big changes already behind the scenes at Rangers. Not a great start to the 49ers era. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching as always. Like I say, a bit of a late reaction, but appreciate the watching the videos. Please give us a like. Please subscribe if you can. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated. Have a great evening. Have a great week. Thank you.